the confidence to do what they want to do, to sometimes do what they should. And so they come to me and they ask me, how do I become a more confident person? And I would like to share with you quickly 3 ways that you could begin to build into your self-confidence that will allow you to go to a level that a lack of confidence will hold you back and keep. The first thing I would share with you, that if you want to be a confident person, you have to take action. Confidence is a result of something. And so many times people cheat themselves because they lack that confidence, so they don't do what they should do, only to leave saying, I wish I would have done that. I can remember when I was in my 20s, I went to a meeting with leaders that were older than I, wiser, bigger, better, faster. What was I, 27? They probably averaged 45, 50. And I was overwhelmed by the fact that I was truly, not trying to be humble, I was truly the least in the room. And I could have learned so much from them. And in fact, they gave times for us to ask questions, and I held back. And I didn't ask questions, and I left that meeting, and I really realized how I cheated myself. And I determined that I would never let that happen again. Now, why didn't I ask the question? Because I lacked the confidence. I thought, well, it's probably a silly question to them. They probably answered that question 1,000 times. They'll look at me and say, wow, he doesn't like. And I determined that day that regardless of how intimidated I was going to become, I was never going to cheat myself, and that I was always going to ask the question, even though I figured it may be a real. What was I doing with my confidence? I was making a determination to take action on something that I didn't feel comfortable. And trust me, I did. I never broke that promise to myself, and today I can look back at many times where I just went ahead and did it. I didn't feel comfortable, but I went ahead and did it. And each time I took action, it began to give confidence. The second thing that I have done to build my confidence is to share with others and help them. One of the things I found is that you begin to feel better about yourself when you help other people get better. And so therefore, there's a confidence booster in making yourself invaluable to others because you're always adding value to them. And so I grew my confidence not only in taking actions on things that I perhaps was intimidated with, but I, quote, did it anyway. I grew my confidence by the fact that I began to meet people's needs. And because I met their needs, I began to be valued, and I began to have influence with those people, and all of that process helped me to become a more confident person. The third thing that I did is I spent time with confident people. There's no security like being people. You know it. You know it when you're with them. You know it when you're not with them. You can feel it in the room. A lot of my leadership has been based on the fact that I provide a lot of secure people. They just know. If they hook up with me, if they read my book, if they kind of follow me, if they listen to my lesson, they're going to get better. And that security helps them to become more secure and confident themselves. That's exactly what I did as a young leader. I found people that were confident, and I hung with them. I watched them. I asked them questions. I learned from them. But more than anything else, I immersed myself in the environment of a confident person.
We experience whatever we focus on. So if you're focusing on how things won't work, you're going to feel the pain that you associate to that. You're going to create a tremendous amount of doubt, and then it usually becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You don't get what you want. Let me give you a kind of a simple example. I'd like you to try something. Please listen and please do this. What I want you to do is think of something you really want to have happen in your future. Something you like to have or do or be. And what I'd like you to do is hope that you'll get this to happen in your life. Okay, try it. Think of something you really want in your life, something you really want to have happen, and hope it'll happen. Notice how it feels when you hope it'll happen. You may even notice what you say to yourself when you hope something will happen. Now what I want you to do is get out of that state. Completely get out of that state for a second. And now let's have you think about the same thing you want to have happen in your life, but this time I want you to expect that it will happen. Absolutely, totally expect it. Know it, okay? And when you know it's going to happen, I want you to notice what happens to the pictures in your mind as you think about it. What's different? I want you to notice the difference in your body. Absolutely expect it will happen. You expect this will occur. You absolutely know it. Now, I got a question for you. Is there a difference in how you feel in your body, first of all? And I think you'll find the answer is yes. In addition, is there a difference in even how you visualize these two things in your mind? There are several distinctions that I make usually with confidence.
An essential part of awakening spiritually is going beyond a conceptualized sense of self and living in a conceptual reality. And of course, all that implies being identified with thinking, because concepts are thoughts. So for many people, the question arises, how do I see myself? And there's a very common problem people have, and that's called self-esteem. What value do I have? What value does my life have compared to others. Some years ago, the Dalai Lama was asked by somebody about self-esteem, and he didn't understand the word self-esteem, and the interpreter, spent several minutes trying to explain to him the meaning of self-esteem, and he just couldn't get it. Now, of course, you might say, well, if I were the Dalai Lama, I wouldn't have a problem with self-esteem either. But that's not it. Self-esteem, in the way in which it's conventionally used, is comparative, and it's always connected to ego. How do I rate myself relative to others, either in achievement, worldly achievement, abilities, knowledge, physical appearance, physical strength, good looks, bad looks, fat, thin, and usually it's related to what you have, possessions, what you can do, abilities, what you know, knowledge, and physical appearance. And that's an interesting thing when you look at your life from that point of view. There's always a sense of unease, because there are always others who are better at least some of these than you are, and then there are others who are worse. I would suggest that the only healthy self-esteem is a self-esteem that is derived from a deeper place than any of those things that usually make up a person's self-esteem.
Most people are living their lives from a heart place and not a head place. They are so engrossed with what the heart feels that they have not covered what the head thinks. Most people are governed by their emotions. They're having a heart experience in a head fight. You will never win a battle if you're having a heart experience in a head fight. Real decisions that move your life along are not coming out of your emotions, they're coming out of your head. Real opportunities that God would open up for you have to come out of your head and not out of your feelings. There are so many people that are so abstract, and they're just moving along from day to day out of their emotions, and they feel, I don't know, I'm just not feeling it today. And every time you do it, you're canceling out opportunities. A person who does not function out of their head is a person without government. A person who moves totally out of their emotions is exempt from the greater opportunity than life, because you will forfeit what God has given you because of how you feel.
The Bible says in 1 Corinthians, we are unspiritual when we're under the control of ordinary impulses. And that's the way so many people are today. They just let their feelings run their lives. If they feel like getting upset, then they're upset. If they feel like telling somebody off, they just tell them off. They feel like being lazy, they're lazy. They feel like being depressed, and they go around all depressed. But friends, we cannot just act on these emotional impulses and expect to have any kind of victory in our lives. And throughout life, you're going to have plenty of opportunities to lose your temper and say things you regret. You're going to get up some mornings and feel like being depressed, feel like going around in a bad mood. At times you'll get caught in traffic and feel like being impatient, feel like getting upset. See, the feelings are always going to be there. But we've got to learn how to follow wisdom and do what we know is right and not just follow our feelings around. I heard somebody say, I can feel my emotions rising, but I made a decision not to get on board. And that's a good way to look at it. Just because you can feel those emotions doesn't mean you have to get on board. And to be disciplined means to do the right thing when you feel like doing the wrong thing. When you feel like saying something that you know you shouldn't say, no, don't get on board. When somebody offends you and you feel like holding a grudge, no, discipline that emotion and learn to forgive them anyway. I mean, how many times have we acted on our emotions and said something that we know we shouldn't say, and later on, it ends up hurting us in that relationship. How many people today act on their emotions and they get involved in a relationship outside of their marriage, and later on, it ends up tearing the whole family apart. And the Scripture says in Hebrews 12:11, no discipline at the time is pleasant, but later on, it's going to bring you a harvest of great things. And we need to be more concerned about later on than we are just feeling good right now. If you live on that shallow level of just always letting your flesh have its way, and I can tell you later on you're going to have some major regrets. Because the seeds we sow today, we're going to reap in the future. If you allow yourself to just go around being upset and impatient and stressed out, later on it's going to catch up to you. Later on it's going to affect your health. If you go around rude and disrespectful, just always speaking your mind, later on you're not going to have any kind of meaningful relationships. If you just are loose in your morals and you just do whatever you feel like doing, well, it may give you some pleasure at the time, but later on it's going to cost you a very heavy price. If you had a problem with your temper 10 years ago and you have that same exact problem today, I can tell you that's keeping you from God's best. If you were impatient and easily upset 5 years ago and you're at that same place today, that's keeping God from increasing you. If you would just do your part and grow up a little bit and quit being ruled by your feelings, quit acting on these emotional impulses, if you do that, that's when God will begin to increase you.
Your brain is divided into two halves, positive and negative, good and evil. It don't function on nothing else. Ain't no neutral ground in your brain. It's either positive and good or negative and evil. Each half of your brain has millions of factory workers on each side. You got 1 million factory workers on the positive side. You got 1 million factory workers on the negative side. At the forefront of each one of those factories in your brain is a foreman. You got foreman positive and you got foreman negative. You are in charge. You're the boss of the factory. Guess what? We are how we think. You can't make a world, but you can make your own world. So now, since your brain is in two halves, let me show you how this works. You wake up in the morning and you say, man, I don't feel myself today. I got up on the wrong side of the bed. I'm not a morning person. Foreman negative hears that. He steps to the front. He said, what did you say? You say, I said I woke up on the wrong side of the bed today. I'm not myself. I'm not a morning person. He says, you got it right away. He said, hey, the boss just woke up and said he's not a morning person. He's having a bad day today, and he ain't feeling himself. Let's get to work. The 1 million factory workers start producing thoughts to justify what you just said. So now guess what? Man, I hate my alarm clock went off this morning. I got to get out here in this traffic. I'm gonna drive down here today. I don't even like these people on my job. I can't stand this car I'm finna get in this morning. Sure wish I had a new car, but I'm driving this ragged ass car. And on and on and on. And your day starts tumbling into what you ordered at the top of the day. You could wake up in the morning and you say, you know what? Today is gonna be a great day today. I expect something really good to happen for me today. He said, what did you say? You say, I said I'm having a great day today. I expect something good to happen today. Foreman positive turns around and goes, all right, let me have your attention. Steve's having a great day today. He's expecting some wonderful things to happen. And man, let's get it going. And they start manufacturing thoughts. Same brain. Man, I can't wait to go to work today. It may not be the job I want, but at least I got a job. I'm sure grateful I got a car to drive to work today. Hey man, at least I got a check coming in. I appreciate the fact that I don't have a car, but at least I can walk to the train. Man, this is gonna be great today. That's how your mind works 24/7. It never turns off. Change your attitude, you change your altitude.
You can't give away what you don't have. Now, it sounds ridiculous, but it's more than what meets the ear as you hear this. You can't give away what you don't have. People who are not good at giving away love can't give away love because they don't have it to give away. If I want to give you a dozen oranges, I can't give you those dozen oranges unless I go out and pick up 12 oranges someplace. Otherwise, all it is just empty rhetoric. And the same thing is true of virtually everything in your life. You can't give away love for others if you don't have love in here to give away. If what you have in here is contempt, if what you have in here is anger, if what you have in here is fear, then these are the things you're going to be giving away in your life.
Don't allow your emotions to control you. If you don't discipline and contain your emotions, they will use you. Your mind goes on automatic. Weeds don't have to have any encouragement to grow. You don't have to water them. They don't have to get sunshine. They don't have to have fertile ground. They will grow through the cracks of a sidewalk. But if you want to grow orchids or roses or any kind of exotic flowers, there are special processes and procedures you must go through. You don't have to force yourself or motivate yourself to think negatively, to be depressed, to hate somebody, to want revenge, to want to get back at somebody, to beat yourself up over the head, to feel loaded with guilt. You don't have to make any effort to do that. You've got to be willing to harness your will. Your mind is on automatic. It will do that by itself. You've got to find ways to increase your sense of self-appreciation, because if you don't, you're bombarded with negative stuff every day that beats you down, and you will find yourself unconsciously engaged in self-destructive behavior. If you don't program yourself, life will program you.
You've got to get grounded. You've got to train your mind to serve you. Just make up your mind. This is not going to control you.
You have got to make a declaration. This is what you stand for. You're standing up for your dreams. You're standing up for peace of mind. You're standing up for health. You want it, and you're going to go all out to have it. It's not going to be easy. When you want to change, it's not easy. If it were in fact easy, everybody would do it. But if you're serious, you'll go all out and say, in spite of this, I'm in control here. I'm going to turn this situation around. I'm not going to sit back and moan and cry over what happened and what went wrong and who did what. I'm going to do something about this situation.
Many years ago, I read a book by Terry Cole Whitaker. It was a classic. What you think of me is none of my business. Think of the amount of time that is wasted on negative energy, wondering what other people think of you. What they think of you really doesn't make any difference. It's what you think of you that makes a difference. So as you go through the day, don't worry about what other people think of you. Just say, I'm all right. I'm God's highest form of creation.
So what people tell you doesn't matter at all. It's what you stack. It's what you assemble. It's what you create. It's the habit of what you put in your head. And today I don't blame you, because we got a whole culture that's always blaming somebody else for something in their life.
It's truly a scientific fact that when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And now you take this tiny little subatomic particle, and you take it and you put it in a particle accelerator, and you rev up the speed of these things and collide them at 250,000 miles per hour. You collide them, you open up the particle accelerator looking for your source, and guess what's in there? Nothing. No thing. That the dot that began you originated from a field of energy that has no boundaries, no beginnings, no ends. It's infinite. It's an infinite potential. And the question that I have for you is, if you can get this, that you didn't begin with that particle, because particles themselves do not create more particles. St. Paul put it this way in the New Testament: that which is seen hath not come from that which doth appear. They talked a little strange in those days, right? What that means is Everything that we see in the material world doesn't originate in the material world. It's the spirit that gives life. The flesh counts for nothing. If the shape of your eye can be in an energy field that has no boundaries, no form, no materialness to it, why not the shape of your life?
You have got to change the way you think. It is the whole determining factor of where you go in life. We are all where we are today because we thought ourselves to this position. If you don't like the position, think yourself out of it. Your brain is divided into two halves, positive and negative, good and evil. It don't function on nothing else. Ain't no neutral ground in your brain. It's either positive and good or negative and evil. Each half of your brain has millions of factory workers on each side. You got 1 million factory workers on the positive side. You got 1 million factory workers on the negative side. At the forefront of each one of those factories in your brain is a foreman. You got foreman positive and you got foreman negative. You are in charge. You're the boss of the factory. Guess what? We are how we think. So now, since your brain is in two halves, let me show you how this works. You wake up in the morning and you say, man, I don't feel myself today. I got up on the wrong side of the bed. I'm not a morning person. Foreman negative hears that. He steps to the front. He said, what did you say? You say, I said I woke up on the wrong side of the bed today. I'm not myself. I'm not a morning person. He says, you got it right away. He said, hey, the boss just woke up and said he's not a morning person. He's having a bad day today, and he ain't feeling himself. Let's get to work. The 1 million factory workers start producing thoughts to justify what you just said. So now guess what? Man, I hate my alarm clock went off this morning. I got to get out here in this traffic. I'm gonna drive down here today. I don't even like these people on my job. I can't stand this car I'm finna get in this morning. Sure wish I had a new car, but I'm driving this ragged-ass car. And on and on and on. And your day starts tumbling into what you ordered at the top of the day. You can wake up in the morning and you say, you know what? Today is gonna be a great day today. I expect something really good to happen for me today. You said, what did you say? You say, I said I'm having a great day today. I expect something good to happen today. Foreman positive turns around and goes, all right, let me have your attention. Steve's having a great day today. He's expecting some wonderful things to happen. And man, let's get it going. And they start manufacturing thoughts. Same brain. Man, I can't wait to go to work today. It may not be the job I want, but at least I got a job. I'm so grateful I got a car to drive to work today. Hey man, at least I got a check coming in. I appreciate the fact that I don't have a car, but at least I can walk to the train. Man, this is gonna be great today. That's how your mind works 24/7. It never turns off. Change your attitude, you change your altitude.
It all depends on how you look at it. Our lives are mostly affected by the way we think things are, not the way they are. The way we think they are affects us most. And Shoaff taught me that the mind is like a factory, a mental factory. And whatever you think about all day long pours ingredients into this mental factory. And that's what builds the economic, social, financial fabric of your life. As you think, so you become.
Do you sometimes say things like, I can't help how I feel. This stresses me out. She makes me angry. Are there times when you try your best to change how you feel, but fail? Does it seem like you've done everything that should make you happy, but somehow you're still not happy? Emotions are powerful. Your mood determines how you interact with people, how you deal with challenges, and how you spend your time. Gaining control over your emotions will help you become mentally stronger. Fortunately, anyone can become better at regulating their emotions. Just like any other skill, managing your emotions requires practice and dedication. Managing your emotions isn't the same as suppressing them. Ignoring your sadness or pretending you don't feel pain won't make those emotions go away. Acknowledge your feelings, while also recognizing that your emotions don't have to control you. If you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, you can take control of your mood and turn your day around. If you are angry, you can choose to calm yourself down. There are 4 remarkable ways that you can control your emotions. Number 1, label your emotions. Before you can change how you feel, label the emotion you're experiencing right now. Are you nervous? Do you feel disappointed? Are you sad? Keep in mind that anger sometimes masks emotions that feel vulnerable, like shame or embarrassment, so pay close attention to what's really going on inside of you. Put a name to your emotions. Keep in mind you might feel a whole bunch of emotions at once, like anxious, frustrated, and impatient. Labeling how you feel can take a lot of the sting out of the emotion. It can also help you take careful note of how those feelings are likely to affect your decisions. Number 2, reframe your thoughts. Your emotions affect the way you perceive events. If you're feeling anxious and you get an email from the boss that says she wants to see you right away, you might assume you're going to get fired. If you were feeling happy when you got that same email, your first thought might have been that you're going to get promoted or congratulated on a job well done. Consider the emotional filter you're looking at the world through. Then, reframe your thoughts to develop a more realistic view. If you catch yourself thinking, "This party is going to be so boring," remind yourself, "It's up to me to have fun. I can talk to people about interesting subjects and make the best of my time." Sometimes, the easiest way to gain a different perspective is to take a step back and ask yourself, what would I say to a friend who had this problem? Answering that question will take some of the emotion out of the equation so you can think more rationally. If you find yourself dwelling on negative things, you may need to change the channel in your brain. A quick physical activity, like going for a walk, can help you stop ruminating. Number 3, engage in a mood booster. When you're in a bad mood, you're likely to engage in activities that keep you in that state of mind. Isolating yourself, mindlessly scrolling through your phone, or complaining to people around you are just a few of the typical go-to bad mood behaviors you might indulge in. But those things will keep you stuck. You have to take positive action if you want to feel better. Think of the things you do when you feel happy. Do those things when you're in a bad mood, and you'll start to feel better. Call a friend to talk about something pleasant.
Hello?
Go for a walk. Meditate for a few minutes. Listen to uplifting music. Number 4, write down your emotions. A healthy way to deal with your emotions at work is to put them into writing. If you feel very strongly about something, take a moment to write down your thoughts. Simply writing down your thoughts is a good way to deal with stress. Writing down your thoughts might be enough to resolve the stressful situation and move on. On the other hand, it could cause you to take it one step further and address the situation in a positive way with your supervisor. Either way, writing down your thoughts and emotions is a good way to think through your emotions and can prevent you from reacting inappropriately. Managing your emotions is tough at times, and there will likely be a specific emotion, like anger, that sometimes gets the best of you. But the more time and attention you spend on regulating your emotions, the mentally stronger you'll become. You'll gain confidence in your ability to handle discomfort, while also knowing that you can make healthy choices that shift your mood. Some people believe that starting a relationship is way harder than maintaining one. This mindset shows that sometimes a person might accept living in a toxic relationship at their own expense instead of leaving and starting a newer one. Your relationship with your partner is the core of your love life, but you should keep in mind that working out a healthy relationship may not be the case for so many couples. So at the end of the day, a relationship between two people will always depend on both of them, not one. Meaning if one of you were to behave in a way that could potentially harm your relationship, then the latter won't be the same. That's because, let us say, for example, one of you is treating the other so poorly, then it's only a matter of time for your feelings to start growing stale towards each other. How do you detect a toxic relationship? How often do you cry or get upset because of your relationship? Do you cry more than you laugh? Do you question your relationship more often than you believe you should? Do you now consider affection and closeness a chore? Did anybody in your family or any of your friends ever tell you or try to convince you to leave this relationship? Do you tolerate or compromise more often? Do you hope your partner will change? Can you see yourself with your partner on a long-term relationship? Do you trust your partner? To find what makes a bond between two lovers toxic, we should examine each one of them. If you feel like you're the one who's getting the short end of the stick, then you should try to consider rethinking your relationship. Is your partner aggressive? Does he gaslight you? How many times did he lie to you to brush it off as you making a big deal out of it? Upon realizing how many times your significant other violated your relationship and everything you stand for as a person, then it's time to say goodbye. Some women, and men alike, can't figure out whether they are indeed in an unhealthy relationship with their partner, and they tend to pass it off as them overreacting or taking the victim stance. If you can't see where the error lies, then ask yourself these questions. Was there a lot of tension in your relationship? Do you ever feel like your happiness depends on your partner's antics and rage surges? Do you yearn for more love? Are there any unchanging differences that you cannot overcome or that you cannot tolerate? If you've decided that you're ready to end your relationship, here are some helpful tips on how to end a relationship and walk away effectively with confidence. If you've been through it, either through yourself or witnessing someone else go back and forth, break up, and get back together, you'll know how toxic that can be. So it's better you leave him and forget him already if you want to lead a healthy, happy, stress-free life. Because staying single is way better than staying trapped in a relationship against your will. These 6 tips can ensure you have a breakup clean and healthy. Number 1. Don't confuse addiction with lust or a real need for love. Bad habits are hard to break. A bad relationship can seem like a bad habit that you just can't break. You lie to yourself that you need that person just because they've been a part of your daily life for a while. Number 2. Realize that the only person you can change is yourself. Your partner is less likely to change for you, and you will end up trapping yourself in a cycle of wishful thinking. You may as well think that you won the lottery and found the perfect boyfriend or husband. However, you should accept that the only person you can change is yourself and start doing it. Otherwise, you're just setting yourself up for many unmet expectations, settings, and disappointments. Number 3, make a plan and stick to it by deciding how, when, where, and why you end the relationship, and do it. Don't look back, don't give in to your own or their desires and feelings, and trust that you're doing the right thing. Write yourself notes about why you do it to remind yourself. Reward yourself when you don't go back. Everyone has had bad relationships. A great way to establish yourself is a good relationship. Number 4, get well, because you'll need assistance with this. Reach out to close friends or family members who can hold you accountable, support you, and remind you of why you left. Don't think you can do all of this alone. If you don't know where to turn for help, a trusted advisor is a great alternative. Number 5, honor your dreams and desires. Try imagining what you wished for in this relationship before you started it. What type of relationship do you desire? Who do you wish to spend your life with? Do you want constant drama in your life? Do you want to be with someone insecure about you? You deserve the best. Don't be nice for someone else's sake. You owe them nothing anyways. Number 6, take one small step each day toward the life you want to live. Celebrate small victories. Do something to enjoy your new life without that bad relationship nagging you. Start a new hobby to make up for the time you lost thinking about heart-draining situations. Go out with friends and enjoy peace, freedom, and respect for yourself. Because nobody will know your value as much as you do. And staying in someone else's oppressive shadow will just halt your happiness and success.
If you want a tree to really grow up and really be a beautiful tree, you got to prune it. You got to prune it every now and then. If you ever, well, I'm from the country, so if you growing corn, you got to hold the road. You got to get the weeds out. If you don't, they're going to stifle the growth of your product. Remember when they used to show rockets going to the moon, and they used to show it in Cape Canaveral or Cape Kennedy, wherever they shoot it from? You see a rocket on the ground, it's got these 4 big boosters. When that rocket comes off the ground, 2 of them boosters stay right there. Them 2 boosters is just enough to get this big thing off the ground. 2 of them stay attached. Then when that rocket go up, you can see. And they used to tell you, the next fuel tank is coming off, boom. And now it's just 1 fuel tank. Because in order for it to get all the way up to where it's going, it has to shed that dead weight. In order to get off the ground, some people in your life just for a season, they just ground level people. They can't go up in the air with you now. And you gotta remember something my daddy told me, everybody come with you, can't go with you. You can't keep dragging people with you, man. And do you know that's what's happening to a lot of people? You can't get where God trying to take you because you trying to take everybody else with you. Everybody come with you, can't go with you, man, I'm sorry. You can't have people go to certain places with you. Y'all got to do this culling. You got to cut the cord with some of these people. They holding you down. I'm just trying to give you some piece of advice.
You should understand real situations expose fake people and friends. So sometimes it takes getting down on life to find out who's really down. Just because they're standing next to you doesn't mean they want the best for you. And just because they're riding with you doesn't mean they're riding for you. So when the going gets tough, you're gonna see true people around you. Everybody you call a friend might not be a friend. Just because they're your best friend doesn't mean they always want the best for you. Someone once said, "Don't confuse the length of the friendship for the strength of the friendship. Don't let the history keep you in the misery. Just because they grew up with you doesn't mean they want to see you grow." Just ask yourself, what's the point of having and keeping many people around you that aren't for you? And what's the point of having people stand by your side that don't really have your back when you need them? Is it just because you're real or loyal? No, that's not loyalty at all. That's stupidity. Do not let your loyalty to them become your slavery. Being loyal to yourself is the true royalty. Just be loyal to someone who brings you peace, not promise. Be loyal to someone who brings your life dreams, not drama. Be loyal to someone who's gonna stand up for you when you ain't there to even stand up for yourself. Stop being loyal to those people. It sounds strange, but loyalty has an expiration date. You cannot control someone's loyalty, no matter how good and caring you are to them. It doesn't mean they're gonna treat you the same. Sometimes it's the people that are close to you who are the most turned out to be the people that you can trust the least. Cut these fake people from your life. It's time to spot them one by one and cut them out of your life. You see, loyalty shouldn't depend on your presence. It's more about how they act in your absence. I mean, some of us are trying to cross an ocean for people that wouldn't cross a puddle for us, and yet these are the ones we call friends? You know, the ones that care so much about your struggle, but yet are so silent when you succeed. It's time to understand that everybody in your boat might not be rowing, but drilling holes. Sometimes your family and friends might leave you in dark times because support doesn't always come from familiar faces. So don't be surprised if God places strangers in your life to help you in those tough times and take you to higher places. God will never take something away from your life without the intention of replacing it with something much better. Trust God. He will put the right people in your life at the right time and the right season. If there's one thing that I've learned to accept, it's that people come and people go. People you expected to stick around may have left you. Sometimes God just removes some people from your life because they're holding you back and hindering your growth. So don't be upset if your growth makes your circle smaller. You have two choices. Let it break you or let it make you. Sometimes God will teach you this, that the best way to add to your life is not to add to it, but to subtract it. Keep it in your mind that it's not about the size of your circle, it's about the loyalty that's in it. Are your friends happy for you when you're winning? Or the more you do better, the more their love gets distant? Listen, true friends never hate on each other. What they do is they push each other to go get it. In your life, do you have those types of friendships? Because mindsets are very contagious, and I promise you this, whoever you consistently surround your life around will surely persuade it. Everyone's prayers for you ain't to make it, so do they really have love for you, or do they just fake it? That's how these fake friends will do you. They present what you want just to take what they need. And when they can no longer benefit from your life, that's when their loyalty finishes. Listen to me. If the people around you don't want to see you win, and if the people that surround you don't want to see the best for you, if they don't inspire you and motivate you, there is no comfort to tell you this, but it's true. You ain't got a circle. Actually, you got a cage. Everything starts with you.
Dreams are what caused thousands of people to leave their homes and families and start over in a land where anything was possible. To this day, dreams continue to bring people to our land of opportunity, to a country where you can start with little and end up with a lot, to America. Don't you sometimes wonder why so many immigrants who come to America can build a new life and a fortune while many of the people who were born here are barely surviving? They have a dream, a defined goal, ambition. I'm sure you've heard the saying, fish and company start to stink in 3 days. Well, that was one of hundreds of Ben Franklin's comments on life. Another was, diligence is the mother of good luck. You know, it's amazing how hard-working, smart-working people have all the luck. We sometimes hear of a brand new musical group, an overnight success. They must have been in the right place at the right time, knew the right people, had a friend to help them out. But if you've ever watched an interview with some of these folks, you'll probably hear that their overnight success took several years. Diligence is the mother of good luck. Now, in addition to these witticisms, Ben Franklin gave us 3 principles of success and ambition that have withstood the test of time. Number 1, happiness doesn't come from big pieces of great success, but from small advantages hammered out day by day. What Mr. Franklin is saying here is that we must be happy with what we've got when we're in pursuit of what we want. Too often we say, oh, I'll be happy when I just get that promotion. I'll be happy when I just land that contract. I'll be happy when I just have more money. I'll be happy when I just what? You won't be any happier when you reach your goals than you are right now. It just doesn't work that way. Abraham Lincoln said it best. He said, "You'll be as happy as you make up your mind to be." Right now, whether you're on your way, whether you've already gotten there, you'll be as happy as you make up your mind to be now. Right now. Being happy on the way doesn't mean you can't aim for great things. After all, look at everything Franklin accomplished in his lifetime. It means that big achievements come one small advantage at a time. It means that you've got to enjoy the journey. It means that you must enjoy and take pride in your little accomplishments. It means enjoying who you are becoming in pursuit of your eager desire, every day, every single day. Ben Franklin's second principle said that life is plastic. Within each of us is the power to mold ourselves and mold our environment. It is up to each of us to begin this molding process with a final product in mind. And it is within our power to work it and form it every minute, every day, every month, every year. By using your mind and your abilities and your attitude to work a little each day on molding your life, you'll soon see how magnificent your power is to gain those small advantages each day. The little steps it takes to build up to success. Principle number 3. Success is a pleasure. If what you are doing today isn't satisfying, gratifying, guess what? You're really not successful. If you are not fulfilled with what you are doing today, you cannot possibly be successful. It doesn't matter how many worldly possessions you may have, how many cars, how many toys, how much money. If you're not happy with your life as it is, you cannot be successful. Now, I know that success is a relative term. It means different things to different people. To a school kid, success may mean a star on top of his latest test. To a homemaker, it probably means that she has a well-run household and a wonderful family. To an outside professional, it's most likely the thrill of closing a major contract, or the pride in accepting a performance bonus, or being named the top producing salesperson. But the one thing you will hear from everyone who is successful is that they are happy with who they are and what they are doing. They are happy, content, satisfied. Success is a pleasure.
We've been victims of weapons of mass distractions. And my children behind me, that reminds me. Took a minute. Well, I try and sit down. You either do or you don't. It's a process to achieve mastery. It's a process. And quitting does not make it any faster. You got to be willing to go all in for you, for your family, for a better life, for freedom. So you're calling your own shots where I just got tired of somebody telling me what time to be there, how long I could have a lunch break for, how much I'm worth. I had to ask for permission to go on vacation. I remember one time I did all the right things and asked in advance for vacation, and then he said no. Why? Y'all don't have to answer that. I just said no. And I remember going back to my desk, and I wrote probably 600 times, I'm getting up and out of here. Nobody's going to treat me like I'm a child, like I'm nothing. I mean, one time they cut my salary, said, you making too much money. Excuse me? I remember at the time, remember now, I'm 76. If you were an African American, you could not buy a newer car than the person you were working for. They would fire you. You've done so many demeaning things to us. That's why Richard Wright said, the impulse to dream has been slowly beaten out of me through the experiences of life. It's a miracle we are not crazy. It's a miracle. That's why you got to be hungry. And this day where we are right now, The people that are evil, the people that are of darkness, the people that are going all out to stop us, to hold us down. We got to be more determined and stronger and be willing to do whatever it takes to live our dreams and create a future for our children. You got to be stronger than the forces working against you. Can't take any breaks. No. Absolutely not. This is the new way of being. This is different. This is a fight. I remember I was at a fight at Douglas Elementary School. I'll never forget with a guy. And during this time, during that year, they had a saying called time out. If you want to get involved in a conversation, you say time out, everybody stop, and then you get your point in. I was fighting with this guy, and one of my shoes came off. I said time out, held my hand up.